It's an epidemic. Among the few takers of all the commercial space for lease, you'd think donut shops are the only viable businesses these days. One opens on this block, another opens on the next block. Call off the search for the Canadian identity, it's staring us in the face. A string of 2,000 donut shops spanning the nation, replacing the railroad as a unifying force. So what's going on here? Is it that you don't have to tip, that almost anybody can afford to go, that you don't have to dress up? What is this love affair with donut shops?
It's an addiction. It's all sugar and caffeine.
It's the fastest thing that you could ever grab.
Some of them are open for 24 hours, eh?
The donut shop has taken the place of the roadside diner or the local coffee shop of the 50s where people used to meet to take a break in their day, but to gossip.
The roots of donutization go back to this man, Adolf Levitt, an immigrant who landed in New York and built the first donut-making machine. Selling from his shop on Times Square, Adolf made a bundle. In 1964, the late Tim Horton twigged to the idea, but the star defenseman probably never dreamed his name would become synonymous with a donut. Doubling its number of stores over the past 5 years, Tim Hortons is by far the big kahuna in Canadian donut circles. With 65 more openings this year, the company is defying the rules of donut economics.
Next, please.
Used to be, they'd only open in a town with 20,000 people. Now, 5,000's enough.
We're also finding new markets. We are now in universities. We're in a number of universities with shops. We're looking at business parks. We now have a store at the top of the CN Tower. So our market is really expanding every day, and we just don't really know what the limit of our market is.
Now starting from the middle with not a whole lot of pressure, just to get that surface air out.
They're not just selling donuts, they're selling franchises. And Canadians figure they can score big on this new national dream. They'll score, but not to the extent they might imagine.
People don't make as much as they think they are going to. Franchising is not generally a way to become a millionaire as a franchisee.
If not a million, how much? Well, is it between 50 and 100 that the average person hopes to take home?
Okay, Alex, I would think that it's in that range, I would think. Somewhere between 50 and 100.
The corporate, and perhaps inflated line, is that the store owner will keep 16 to 18% of gross sales. In the case of Country Style, another big chain, that leaves a typical owner roughly $90,000. But it's a round-the-clock, 7-day-a-week business with lots of staff and most probably debt. As usual, the big money accumulates at head office. They sell you a ready-to-run shop for $250,000.
That comes to $550. Please drive through.
And take a royalty on your gross sales, 3 to 5%. On top of that, headquarters gets a cut when it sells supplies to the stores, and is also usually your landlord. In the donut trade, the cash flows when the coffee flows. A $1 cup actually costs about 30 cents. But just when it looked like the perfect recession-proof business, bang, saturation hits the Ontario donut market. And worse, competition from other quarters, specialty coffee shops.
New businesses that are opening are basically stealing from one another. They're really not creating an additional market. They're really not creating an additional customer base. And it's basically now one's taking the other one's business.
Nevertheless, Country Style thinks Quebec and the West are still ripe for donutization and continues to open 25 stores annually. To stay competitive, the donutiers are offering more products. If you can believe it, there's a low-fat model for cholesterol counters. And how things change. They're even starting to play down the donut. This is an old Horton sign. This is a new Horton sign. The word donut is gone. Karen Castellane follows franchising and says fast food niches are getting fuzzier and fuzzier.
Because everyone's starting to encroach on everyone else's territory by adding similar products. McDonald's is adding pizza. I mean, the donut shops are moving into soups and salads, and you've got soup and salad shops that are now offering yogurt.
So now the donut barons are trying to rebake the old image, an image of just being a hangout. They're quick to tell you they want everyone to feel comfortable in their stores. Montreal's finest might be tired of the jokes about cops spending their shifts at donut shops, but they'll be relieved to know this shop behind the Hamilton Courthouse is said to be a haunt for lawyers and the scene of many a settle. Among all the franchises available today, donut shops are still among the most profitable. Like fish and forests, they're now staples of the national economy. And we better hope they don't start going under, or then we'll be in real trouble. For Venture, I'm Howard Green.